today's hot topic is relationships during quarantine. In the media, there have been supposedly relationships that have fallen apart seemingly because of quarantine. So we wanted to discuss our relationship and see how that fares in relation to quarantine. So my special guest today is not only the producer of the league, she's also my fiance. She's my baby bear, my pride and joy. I'd love to welcome Whitney Bowers. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good, baby. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on today.
Of course, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk a little bit about our relationship and just let people know what we've been up to. I guess.
So, for those of you who don't know about our background, we want to share little something about how we met.
Yeah. Newton and I we met at an event. Shout out to Kels Morgan.
Yay, yay!
um, we met at one of her events. I was hosting the red carpet, and Newton was a model at the show, and we bumped into each other like
We
that
did. We
for the
did.
first time. That's how we actually. Well, it's
No,
not completely true.
that's not true because I actually saw her at the audition
Yeah,
for this show, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this girl is
me.
amazing." And so, fast forward, I saw you again, and I'm like, "Wow, she is beautiful. She is stunning."
Mm.
And I didn't want to initially approach her because I thought we, meet organically.
Well, he was just coming out of a relationship too. So
Okay,
there's
so
that
yeah,
part of it, but
and I wasn't looking for a relationship, so
yeah,
I wanted to kind of just hang out and
yeah.
stay low key. But she did a good job while she was hosting, and
We
then
exchanged numbers.
yes. Now, how did we exchange numbers? You said you wanted to go hiking.
You walked me to my car.
I did.
He walked me to my car because it was nighttime. I think we were in Echo Park.
Yes,
The
yes.
the place that we were at was in Echo Park, and so he walked me to my car, and I asked him to go hiking with me. And for those of you that don't know, Newton is not a hiker.
I don't hike, guys. I've never hiked in my. Okay, I take it back. I've hiked once, but I'm
With
not.
me.
Yes, and my sister came in town, so
But yeah, so I asked him to go hiking with me. He said, sure, take my number.
I mean, when you got a beautiful woman asking you to go hike, you just got to do what you got to do, right? So
But we didn't really talk until there was another show that was coming up, and I hit him up and asked him if he was going to be there, and he was. And
now hold on. I was not, but I said I was going to be there only if you said you were coming.
that's true.
I wasn't going to come otherwise, though. So
Yep.
yeah.
And so we ended up getting to know each other a little bit more during that night.
Mhm.
He bought me a drink. I told him I needed to pay him back for that drink, so I invited him out for coffee. Learned even more about him. Found out he is not only handsome, but
Sweet.
he's intelligent and driven and motivated, and all of these amazing things that you want in a partner.
Don't stop.
And so we had a great time, but he was so busy that we didn't really spend a whole lot of time together. We talked on the phone quite a bit though.
We did.
And a
We did.
few months went by, and I called him up drunk, and I was like, "You don't think I'm pretty? Why haven't you asked me out? Take me
And
out."
I was like, no, it's not that type of party. I mean, you're beautiful. And I'm like, okay, Friday night.
Yeah, so we did. We went out, and the rest is history, I guess. I mean, our relationship hasn't been easy by any means at all. I mean,
Yeah.
we've definitely had some tumultuous things happen and big things happen in our lives that made things difficult too. But we're still together, so we're here.
We've grown together too. We've had,
Yeah.
that honeymoon stage where you have to grow and learn each other.
Yeah.
And it was growing pains. I was not the most open as far as um, my conversation and letting her in. So
Yeah.
it took some time, but yeah, we went through it and we're still going through it, but we're in a better
Yeah,
place for sure.
for sure.
Our relationship pre-quarantine was pretty busy, wouldn't you say, sweetheart?
Yeah. I was auditioning a lot, and we pretty much only saw each other 2 or 3 times a week, maybe.
Yes, I
I mean,
mean,
we were passing constantly. Um, we just stayed really busy.
you were killing it though. The crazy part is we lived together, so
Mhm.
it was hard and it was a crazy dynamic because the communication initially, at least for me, was kind of off. And Whitney's big on communication, so I had to learn.
Yeah, communication is super important for me. Um, in all aspects of everything. I mean, if you tell me what you expect and what your plans are and everything, then I can work around that and make it fit into my schedule and everything. I think it's important as teammates and as partners to talk about that kind of stuff.
And that, she said it right. That word teammate was
Mm.
something that she really emphasized because I've always been used to just doing things on my own, doing it my way. And she had me understand and help me that I could trust her as a partner
Yeah.
to be in the trenches with me. And that was huge, even though she's very bossy.
Well, I yeah. I mean, I am. It's like this need to have like control of how things play out. Um, I think that's something that this quarantine has kind of taught me how to, that I've not only realized it, but I've tried to, pull back. Newt's a grown adult, and he's not my child. I can't tell him what to do. And which is can cause some strife between us because I I don't think I'm alone with as a female that's likes things done certain ways, but Newton, one of the things that we've had to work on with Newton is he has a tendency to spread himself very thin, um, which can which makes it so things that he promises me or promises that he's going to do for me end up getting pushed off because he's got other things on the list that have to be done first. Which is why I always hammer in the whole communication thing.
I tend to, if I have 5 things on my list for the day, I may add like an extra 3 or 4.
10.
Stop it. And sometimes it's 11, 12 a.m. and I've gotten 3 of them or 4 of them
Yeah.
done. And she's taught me to balance that a little bit more and
Try to be more realistic
yeah,
with your time. I mean,
live to fight another day. In other words,
yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to say that.
our relationship during quarantine has been a little different, wouldn't you say, sweetheart?
Yeah. Um, we were spending a lot more time together.
Yes, total opposite from what we were used to.
We were on top of each other, and it was like I couldn't breathe.
So we were fighting a lot initially.
Yeah, I mean, we are such independent creatures that have found a way to come together to build together. So being together in such a stressful environment, I think um, it was hard for us.
It was because now you're factoring in, you go from living a normal life to all of a sudden things are starting to shut down. And we were in the middle of filming something, a
Mm,
first project together. So
yeah,
it was tough. Now we can't film. The industry's starting to shut down.
yeah.
You can't, we have to wear masks and things like that all of a sudden, like everybody else. And so it was a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the gravity of everything hit me when at the beginning of the quarantine, Newton and I went grocery shopping together, and seeing the shelves empty and seeing everything, you know, like certain foods gone, and not knowing when they were going to be back, and worrying about all of that kind of stuff. It was like on top of, well, we were going to start planning our wedding right when all of this happened. And so
Yes.
that was what, where my head went to, and what's going to happen with that. And are we going to have to push off our wedding, and what else in life is going to change because of this,
And then that kind of starts to spiral, which is what happened, and
Yeah.
started getting depressed. I mean, just to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I had a bit of a breakdown, which, prompted me to start taking therapy, which is something I actually wanted to do anyways. But, this kind of forced me to face my own inner demons head on, as well as, the things that I didn't like about myself in our relationship. You know, Newton said something about the whole controlling aspect of things, and I admit that that's something that I do, um, and I don't want him to feel like a child. Nobody wants to feel that way.
And then on my end too, I didn't want to plan so many different things where I'm not giving her enough attention. It's okay to not have anything going on one or two different things,
Yeah.
and let it be. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Live to fight another day, as we, it's been the motto. So
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I think that's, something we've always talked about, that though, in our relation, those things in our relationship. But I think the quarantine has helped, really cement some of those things. So
Absolutely.